All right, and we're back. Welcome to another edition of the End of Day Report with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave Price Trigger reports that we place in your hand each and every trading day. All right, so I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. I did tell you last week there was a 95% chance that we were going to have a pullback in these markets between Friday and Monday, and I was correct. So now, come Monday, here we are in this morning's broadcast. I told you that it's going to be very important that today's close will probably be the most important close ever for the markets. So now it's time to get into it and take a look-see and see where we're going. Did the markets do a continuation from what I showed you in the morning, or did we end up with something else? Let's see. All right, so we're going to do like we do, no particular order. We're just going to look at the markets, and we're looking at futures, forex, stocks, and crypto in no certain order. So if you miss something, you can always restart from the beginning, and we're going to get into it. All right, let's roll. First chart is the E-mini S&P 500. So like I told you, coming into this week, what needed to happen, it didn't happen. We got that downside production today, nice downside production from the crash alert back here, and the market has been doing it. All rallies being sold, and we're still moving that way. Based on how the market closed today, the trade is still to the sell side of the market, meaning that we're going to be looking to get involved short again. All right, so I'm anticipating some profit taking into tomorrow morning, and we may even finish green on the day. I don't anticipate an enormous rally, but some type of profit taking, because we did dip into the Kumo cloud. We created a pointer today, a bearish pointer, meaning that now the next target is the bottom of the Kumo cloud, but not necessarily yet. I think we will now try to rally, move a little sideways for a day or two before descending back down again. So we know that at some point, this pointer will need to be reconciled, okay? So this is what we're working with right now. All right. So this is how we close. So I'm expecting continuation. The trade is still to the sell side. Even if we get a rally tomorrow, I think most people will wait for the market to set up for that next leg down. Here's the Dow, same thing. Bearish pointer. Bottom of the Kumo cloud is now in full effect. Remember, I told you that 26,500, somewhere ish around there, was that possibility. I told you that last week. Well, the market hit that today. You know, you can't make this stuff up. I don't pull these numbers out of the air. All right. When I tell you something, it's for your own good. Now, we got the beginning of a bearish weekly trend momentum reading here in this Dow. So more downside is to come, but we may have a pause for a day or two that will set us up for the next leg down. So we will trade accordingly. All right, moving right along. Here is the forex side. Here's your Australian dollar. Here's how it did today. All right, so it also gave us more downside production today. The trend line support is the initial target for this. I don't think the selling's quite done there yet, but you never know. We also got the bearish weekly trend momentum reading beginning to come into play here. So right now the trade is still to the sell side. So even if we get a pop in the market, I think that's going to get sold off as of right now. Okay. All right, taking a look now at the Canadian dollar. As you can see here, how it ended up today. We got the reversal, which has happened here. The trade has been to the long side of the market. I did tell you that last week, that the market bias was to the long side of the market. That remains true today, even though we got even more upside production from our rally alert back here. We got up to this trend line resistance. Bottom of the Kumo cloud is the next target. And then we're looking for the top of the Kumo cloud. And we got the beginning of a bullish weekly trend momentum reading. So again, the trade is still to the long side of the market on the Canadian dollar. But what about the US dollar index? And what does that mean for commodities? Let's take a look. All right, so the trade has been still to the long side of the market. All right, and we saw that today with more upside production from this primary rally alert and the secondary rally alert. We got more upside production, which is what we were anticipating. So market is behaving in kind the way we thought. Trend line resistance, bottom of the Kumo cloud resistance, next stop, top of the Kumo cloud if it can get there. But for right now, the bias is still to the long side of the market, even for the dollar index. So we're expecting what? Higher prices. Let's take a look now at the euro yen, which is a market predicting indicator for the US stock indexes. You can see here how this really broke down. We got a lot of downside production today from these last two crash alerts here. And now we're dangling over the edge of the cliff. All right. So this is a bearish pointer. We know that at some point we're going to come down and test this support and more than likely than not exceed this. But we're probably going to chill just for right now. I don't think too much is going to happen. But you never know. You know, we talk a good game, but at the end of the day, we do what the PulseWave reports tell us to do, regardless of what we think or how we feel at the end of the day. All right, here's your nat gas. So nat gas did something a little different. You know, that's why I like the reports. The PulseWave reports do what it does. Now, we had this crash alert. We got all this downside production from it, right? Now, we stopped for a moment. We came into today looking for we had a rally alert. We're looking for a rally. The market did not rally. We got no upside production, no harm, no foul. But something else happened. We got more downside production. So this rally ended up being sold. And here's the downside production, thus creating a bearish pointer as well in the nat gas. So as you can see, we have technical damage on the daily chart, which we cannot resist. We have technical damage on the chart. So where do we go from here is a very good question. But right now, the bears are in control of this market, and the trade now is back to the sell side. And this has been the case for the last couple of instances. As you can see here, this rally alert, we got no upside production. The one prior to that, we got no upside production. The one prior to that, we got no upside production. So every rally is being sold in the nat gas. All right. So we've switched from an accumulation phase to a distribution phase. At first, all pullbacks were being bid. Now all rallies are being sold. So the complexion of the nat gas market has changed. All right. We've given back all of our gains from August. We've given it back. All right. All of it. We've erased it like nothing happened. All right. This is a critical moment. Very critical moment for this market. All right. That's why you got to like the reports, man. You got to like these reports because we take a look at everything. We really do. We want to see what's what. All right. Let's see here what else we got. Give me just a second. All right. Give me just a moment. I'm trying to pull something up. Just bear with me just for a second. All right. Never mind that. Okay, let's see what else we got here. All right, someone wants to take a look at the ZSL, the ultra short silver. Let's take a look here. All right, so this one. All right, so we got a lot of upside production today from the past two rally alerts back here. The trend line, overhead trend line resistance is the initial target on this one. So far so good. I think right now the trade is still to the long side of the market until it isn't. How long silver will correct is a good question. Just be careful with inverse ETFs. You know, they're not necessarily designed to be held long term. So just, trade it, make your money, but I would definitely follow the reports. Whatever the PulseWave report says to do, I would do it, and I wouldn't try to outguess it. But for now, the bias is to the long side of the market on the Roku. I'm sorry, on the ZSL. I said Roku. All right, the next thing we're looking at is Roku. All right, so with Roku, we got, let's see. All right, so this one also pulled the okie doke. So here's what happened with this one. We came in today, or should I say last week, we had the crash alert. We got that downside production, right? And so the trade was still to the sell side of the market, and with rallies being sold, whatever. But today the market did something else, had a total breakout reversal, and even gave us a rally alert for tomorrow on the back of this. So this is a pretty radical key reversal. I mean, this was, I don't know if there was some news that came out on this stock or what, but this is a total reversal on this one. And you have to like it. You have to love it. You really do. You have to love it because if you were a subscriber to the PulseWave reports, the reports told you how to deal with something like this. And so you could have pretty much caught this entire bar today. The system would have got you out of your shorts and into your longs if you were following the system. So this is pretty neat, man. So hopefully some of our PulseWaves out there caught this, because sometimes markets move without official rally and crash alerts. That's why you got to read the report. It tells you what to look for, just in case the market doesn't do what we anticipate that it may do. All right. There's one other thing I want to look at. Let's pull up the gold futures real quick. All right. So here's how gold is shaping up now. All right. So here we were, with gold. All right. Now the trade in the gold was like this. For whatever reason, right? The market bias has been on the sell side of the market. All right. It's just been that way. Now you can do about it. We flipped from the bullish bias to a bearish bias from the crash alert back here. Then we got secondary rally alert here. The market reversed and flipped back down to the sell side of the market again. Now we got this big sell-off today, right? You took out the trend line support, got into the Kumo cloud, and you got now a secondary crash alert for tonight into tomorrow's trading with the bearish weekly trend momentum reading. Markets are flip-flopping all over the place and doing the unexpected. But now here's something that some people find worrisome. And here's that NASDAQ 100. Here's that tech sector. So we came into this week with a crash alert. We've been getting all this downside production, right? And now the market did what I anticipated that it could do this morning. I said, be careful for violent intraday reversals going into Tuesday. I said that. Well, what did we have happen? We had a violent reversal off the lows in the NASDAQ 100. Now we got a rally alert going into Tuesday, and the initial target of the trend line resistance is right there. So will it spin out around here? Will it have a problem with 11,000? Is 11,000 a new resistance zone? That's the question. So we're going to follow the reports and let the reports be our guide and do exactly what it says. But for now, the bias has flipped from sell side to buy side. Is this temporary, or is this the beginning of something new? We do have this bearish weekly trend momentum. Is this about to fall off? Is the market going to try to give us another attempt at a rally? This last one here, we got very minimum upside production before failing. All right. Tried to come up here again and test and failed. Then what do? We got another failure here, couldn't do it. And then that led to our big crash alert going down. So is today's intraday reversal just a setup for another leg down tonight into tomorrow with this massive bearish pointer? Those are very good questions. Very good questions. But right now, we got to do what we got to do. The bias has flipped to the long side temporarily. Doesn't mean we still can't go down with this bearish pointer, but we still have to, do exactly and follow exactly as the report says. Since we're on the tech sector, let's just take a quick look at Facebook today. All right, so again, it took a while because Facebook was just up here, just levitating, right? Then all of a sudden we started getting production on the crash alerts. Boom. Crash alert followed by nice downside production all the way down, exceeding expectations, taking out the trend line support, going and hitting secondary target, which is the top of the Kumo cloud. Notice how the market stopped short right there on the close. We're into the Kumo cloud now, and I think we're probably going to move sideways. Once you're in that Kumo cloud of death, that's pretty much what happens. Got a bearish weekly trend momentum. The bias is still to the sell side of the market with rallies being sold. So as of right now, Facebook, the bears are still in control of this market. It's just one of those things, man. What can you do? The markets warn you. They tell you what's happening. They tell you what's coming. That's what they do. Sticking with tech for the minute, let's take a look at the QQQ, NASDAQ 100 ETF. Notice how the chart pattern is similar, following its futures counterpart. And right now, what do we have? We have a rally alert for tomorrow's trading. Overhead trend line resistance is the initial target. Bearish weekly trend momentum reading. We're right here. We stopped short in the Kumo cloud. So we flipped from a bearish bias, from a sell bias, to now a long bias. All right, except for there's something interesting on this particular bar. Here on the QQQ, we did not quite do what we did in the NASDAQ. All right, this is barely a bearish pointer. The NASDAQ futures has a massive bearish pointer, but this one here is just a little baby pointer. All right, nothing really massive. So the QQQ is suggesting that this could be just an intraday spike low, meaning that not something that would necessarily be tested, but we could literally V-shape from here and just rally back up. So a lot of big question marks as to where we're going to end up and how we're going to end up based on today's activity. One could suggest that we're going to stop short here and the market's going to reverse and head back up, like this was just an intraday washout event. That's what the QQQ is kind of suggesting right now. So we're going to have to wait and see how the markets respond in the overnight futures for the NASDAQ, and then see what happens in tomorrow's trading session. All right, here's your Litecoin. Now, Litecoin, I've been telling you, Litecoin, it has a bearish bias to it because of the crash alert, and we're beginning downside production. Today we got massive downside production from the crash alert. And as you can see here, the market is in free fall. Again, you can't make this stuff up. That's why we put out these reports, so you'll know exactly what to do and how you ought to move in these markets. It's very important how you move in these markets. Okay, so you got to trade lightly. All right, here is Bitcoin. Let's take a look at your Bitcoin. Here's what Bitcoin has been doing. All right, so we came into this week with a crash alert, and then today we finally get that downside production in Bitcoin. Massive down leg. Had you been, following the reports, you would have had an opportunity to short that Bitcoin today for a nice downside gain. So right now, we've flipped from a bullish to a bearish bias, and we've already broken the Kumo Cloud support, and we're dangling over the edge. All right, and we flipped from bullish bias to a bearish bias. This is getting interesting on how this support zone is being built. Remember, the 10,000 to 10,500 is our support zone base that is being built for the next rally. All right, so we could have another day or two of downside before, or even a consolidation at this point, before moving back higher again. So right now, the bears have it. I see a sell bias with intraday rallies possibly being sold also. I will follow the reports though, not just what I say. Remember, regardless of what I say, always follow the reports to the letter and do not deviate from it. Do not try to outthink the report. That's how you get hurt. All right, take a look at silver. Now we flipped over to the December contract now, so that you know that. Okay, we flipped over to the December contract in silver futures. Look at the bar. Look at the bar. We've been operating under the auspices of a bearish bias because of the crash alert. We've been getting downside production. Market took a little while off with that sell bias still in effect, and then finally, boom! Here's the down leg. You can't make the stuff up. This is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. You have to do what you have to do. This is what it is. This is that bias that we'll be talking about that you can't ignore. This is that bias. All right. So for right now, the bias is still to the sell side. We took out trend line support. Here we are on our way to the bottom of the Kumo Cloud support. And now what will probably happen is that this bar will be our trading range for the next several sessions as the market begins to move sideways and determine what it wants to do. But make no mistake, the bias is still to the downside for now in the silver futures. All right. Again, you can make your best efforts. You can make your guesstimations. You can try to anticipate, but at the end of the day, the markets are going to do what they do. That's why the reports are so important. All right, so let's take a look now at Ethereum. So you see how we had the crash alert. You see how we got this massive downside production, even created a gap, right? Then we moved sideways for a bit. Then we flipped from a bearish bias to a bullish bias with the rally alert. We got all this upside production. Then the market flips on us again to the sell side, giving us a crash alert. Got a little slither of downside production before it flip-flopped on us again, back to a bullish bias, gave us nice upside production here. Then what do we get? Then we get a crash alert. We flip back over to a bearish bias, and then we get this nice production here. It's been a lot of flip-flopping, but what can you do? You know what I'm saying? It's been a lot of flip-flopping, but you still have to maintain. You still got to trade the way you see and what the market's doing. And so now we flip back to a bearish bias. Here's a bearish weekly trend momentum reading, and the rest is history. So right now, as you can see, it's all about the reports right now and what the market wants to show us and tell us, and we just going to have to trade accordingly. The markets don't always do what we expect or anticipate for the market to do. That's why we just have to do, trade what we see, trade the way we know, take what the market is telling you and not try to outguess it, second guess it, whatever. Just do what the market is telling you to do. Because at the end of the day, that's all we got anyway, right? So we let the market speak and we don't try to overthink it. We don't try to overshadow. We don't do none of that. We just let the market speak. All right. So with that being said, man, I mean, we're gonna see. This week could be rather interesting. We got the Fed speaking all week, and we just got a lot going on. We got a lot going on this week, um, both politically and economically. So we're just gonna take it as it comes because that's all you can do anyway. So we're just gonna take stuff as it comes and just let the market speak to us. At the end of the day, that's really all we can do anyway, is just let the market speak. The market will tell us what it wants us to know. The market's going to do what the market's going to do. All we have to do is just listen. All right, that's it. That's all we got to do is listen and let the market lead the way. Because at the end of the day, that's what the market's going to do anyway. The market is going to lead the way. The market is going to do what the market is going to do. All right, so we don't have to overthink it. We don't have to second guess it. We don't have to do none of that, man. All we do is just let the market do what it do. Let it tell us what it's feeling, what it's thinking, how it wants to move, and then that's it, man. That's all we do. We just let the market speak, And if we listen, it'll speak. It'll be loud and clear. It'll tell us what it wants us to know, and it'll put us on the right side of the market, you know. And just remember, not all, you're not always necessarily going to be in a position. Sometimes you'll be trading, and the market will have a bullish bias to it, but what ends up happening is you're not necessarily, even with a bullish bias, if the system will basically work one of two ways. Every time you get stopped out of a bullish position, it doesn't mean you need to now it's time to flip and get bearish. That is not always the case. Sometimes when you get stopped out in a bull market, that's the system forcing you to take profit. All right, so you can take profit along the way. That's what it's designed to do. All right, just remember that. And you don't get mad when that happens. When the market speaks and forces you to take profit and gets you out, you got to get ready to jump back in again for the next leg of the move. That's how you do it. And then other times when the trend has exhausted itself and the system is sensing that, what the system will do in situations like that is it will now put you on the opposite side of the trade, because that is what it is designed to do at the end of the day. All right. So at the end of the day, you're going to be put straight. You're going to be on the right side of the market. The market's not going to, make things easy for you. That's why we got the system in the first place, so that you can be put on the right side of the market. And sometimes, things flip flop. There's buyers and sellers battling it out every day. There's news coming out. There's earnings. There's interest rate discussions, stimulus projections, all types of things that come in. A lot of noise, and you have to be able to filter out noise as well. So just keep in mind, there are going to be days where you're going to be flat, but just because you're flat, it doesn't mean you don't have tickets working and waiting. All right. So just remember that. All right. So no, I haven't heard anything about a shutdown. I haven't heard anything about a stimulus bill, and I haven't heard anything about the government shutdown either. Okay, Tony said they've run out of money at the end of September. Okay. All right, that sounds about right. Well, that's what, a week or two away. So yeah, man, it's crazy. Tom, I saw you. I could not pull up the USD TRY. I typed that in and nothing came up. Maybe it's under a different ticker, that TR. That's another thing too. I don't have necessarily some of the exotic forex pairs. There are like 400 exotic forex pairs, but here in the States, most of those are not tradable. All right, out of the like 400 plus exotic pairs that exist here in the States, they only let us trade maybe about 40 of those. So we're only trading like a tenth, you know what I'm saying, of those that are available. So I couldn't pull up the USD TRY. If you could tell me what country that TRY is supposed to represent, maybe it may be under a different heading. So you can let me know about that. All right, guys, you know what it is, man. Bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I am out. See y'all at PulseWaveTrading.com. You know what it is. Stop playing around. Come over there and learn how to break some bread with us. Learn how to eat. Learn how to navigate these markets. Because right now, these are some of the greatest times to be alive and to be trading. You know, these are times you'll be able to tell your grandkids about. You know what I mean? Because these are really exciting times, and we never know from day to day what can transpire. You know what I mean? All right, I'm out of here, folks. Everybody, get them tickets working, man. Get your orders in so that you can be in a position to catch some of these moves because the market waits for no one. All right, so do what you got to do, and I'll holler back, man. Peace.